Welcome back to Second Act Stories. I'm Arthur, and as always, I'm joined by the wonderfully pragmatic Carol.
Pragmatic is a polite way of saying I keep your feet on the ground, Arthur. It's good to be here. You tend to float off on clouds of philosophy, and I'm here with the rope to gently tug you back to earth.
And I'm grateful for it. It's a necessary tether. Carol, I want to start with a question. Have you ever put something on a someday list? You know, someday I'll learn Italian. Someday I'll visit the Grand Canyon. Someday I'll finally sort through those boxes in the attic.
Of course, my someday list is a mile long. It has its own zip code. Someday I'll write a novel. Someday I'll plant a vegetable garden that actually produces vegetables, not just disappointment and a buffet for the local rabbits. Someday I'll learn to play the ukulele I bought 5 years ago that's currently gathering dust and judgment in the corner of my living room. The problem is, the somedays seem to get further away, not closer. Life just happens. The urgent always seems to crowd out the important. The leaky faucet, the tax deadline, the grandkids' soccer game, they all shout louder than the quiet whisper of a ukulele.
Exactly. It's the tyranny of the urgent. A friend of mine calls it filling the bucket with pebbles. You spend all your time on the small, immediate things, and by the end of the day, there's no room for the big rocks, the passions, the dreams. Well, today we're going to talk about a man who seems to have completely erased the word someday from his vocabulary. An 80-year-old man who is a living, breathing testament to the idea that the perfect time to live is right now. And his story really forces us to ask, is it ever truly too late? Or is that just the most convenient, most comforting story we tell ourselves to let ourselves off the hook?
His name is Graham, and he lives on the remote, beautiful island of St. Helena. At 80, he not only runs regularly on these rugged volcanic trails, but he says he runs better now than he did as a teenager.
Okay, hold on. Better than as a teenager? That's a bold claim. My teenage self could eat a whole pizza and then run a mile. My current self gets a sports injury from sleeping in the wrong position. I mean, my knees hurt just thinking about running. Are we sure he's not exaggerating just a little? It's a lovely thought, but it sounds almost mythical. Is he talking about speed or just the feeling he gets from it?
That's a fair question. I think he means it in terms of endurance, and more importantly, in terms of joy. As a teenager, running might have been a chore, something you had to do in gym class. Now, it's a choice. It's freedom. But that's not even the main story. His real sanctuary is the ocean. He's a scuba diver, Carol, an avid one. He started in 1962, back when the gear was rudimentary. No buoyancy compensators, no dive computers. He estimates he's done over 5,000 dives.
Wow. Okay, that's incredible. I mean, really stop and think about that number. That's more than a dive a week for almost a century. That's a lifetime spent in another world. I can't imagine the things he's seen, the changes in the ocean over 60 years, the physical toll, the skill required at 80. So, what's his secret? A special diet? Superhuman genes? Did he find the fountain of youth on St. Helena?
That's the fascinating part. He says there is no secret. He's just lived a healthy life without obsessing over it. It wasn't about a rigid diet or a punishing gym routine. He grew up with a natural freedom and a deep love for nature. Diving for him isn't exercise. He calls it a passion. He says, "I'm just happy when I'm under the water." It's his place of peace, a state of grace.
I can understand that. That feeling of peace and quiet, the muffled sound, being in a different world, it's meditative. But you know, Arthur, when we hear stories like this, it's easy to feel inspired, but it can also feel a bit unattainable. I saw a comment on his story from someone who said the "you are never too old" story is a fallacy. They talked about how, despite being fit their whole life, their body just couldn't keep up anymore. Arthritis, old injuries, life. And I get that. My father was a carpenter, strong as an ox his whole life, but by 70 his hands were so gnarled with arthritis he could barely hold a hammer. It wasn't for a lack of trying. It makes you wonder, is this a story about mindset or a story about good genetic luck? For every Graham, there are 100 people for whom that advice feels like a slap in the face.
I'm so glad you brought that up because it's the most important question. We have to honor that reality. Pain is not a failure of mindset, and I don't think it's an either-or. Of course, genetics play a role, but Graham's story for me is less about the physical act of diving and more about his philosophy. It's about what he chose to prioritize. He has this line, and Carol, it's a powerful one. He says, "By the time one has money to burn, the fire will have died out."
Oof. Yeah. That one lands right in the chest. I think everyone over 50 has felt a flicker of that fear. We spend our whole lives accumulating, saving, planning for that golden age of retirement, but we don't always think about what we're losing in the process. The fire. It's not just energy. It's curiosity. It's the ability to be delighted by small things. It's your spark. I've seen it with friends' parents. They retire, they have the money, the time, and they're bored. They don't know what to do with themselves because the fire wasn't just low, it had gone out completely. They'd forgotten what it felt like to be passionate about something other than work.
Exactly. The habit of joy has atrophied, and that mindset of deferment is so uniquely American in a way. The deferment of joy. It's fascinating to compare it to other cultures. Think about the Swedish concept of Friluftsliv.
Free air life, right? I've heard you mention it. It's more than just a love of the outdoors, isn't it?
Precisely. It's a cultural mindset that being outside and active is essential to well-being at every age. It's not a chore or something you schedule. It's a fundamental part of the rhythm of life. It's not about performance, it's about connection. Swedish seniors don't stop hiking or cross-country skiing. Companies might encourage a fika break, which is more than coffee. It's about social connection, often taken outdoors. It's woven into the fabric of society. In the US, we might join a silver sneakers class at the gym, which is great, but it's an event. In Sweden, they just go for a walk in the forest. It's a profound difference in perspective.
That's a great point. It refrains it. We commercialize and schedule wellness, while for them it's just living. It's like the difference between going on a diet and just learning to love healthy food. So it's not about pressuring yourself to run a marathon at 75. It's about finding that thing that connects you to the world and makes you feel alive. For him, it's diving. For someone else, it might be their garden, or painting, or mentoring a young person, or even just a daily walk in the park. The activity itself is less important than the passion behind it.
And that passion is what keeps the fire from dying out. Graham's ultimate philosophy is summed up when he says, "Hell and heaven is here in your life now. It's up to you." It's so simple yet so profound. He's not waiting for a reward in the afterlife. He's creating his own heaven every time he slips below the waves. He's choosing it moment by moment.
So, going back to that commenter, the one who felt it was a fallacy, and my dad with his hands, maybe the message isn't that everyone can do what Graham does physically. That's an impossible standard. Maybe the message is that everyone can adopt his mindset. We can all choose to find our own heaven right now, in our own way, within our own limitations, instead of putting it on the someday list. If your heaven used to be mountain climbing, and now your knees won't allow it, maybe the new heaven is mastering the art of baking bread, or learning to identify every bird that visits your feeder. For my dad, it became teaching his grandkids how to use a screwdriver. He adapted.
That's it exactly. You've captured it perfectly. That's a beautiful example. It's not a blueprint for what to do, but an inspiration for how to be. It's about adapting the passion, not abandoning it. It's about finding a new way to let your light shine.
This conversation gives me so much to think about. It really does. And I'm sure our listeners feel the same way. So let's open it up. We'd love to hear from you.
First, how do you balance planning for the future with enjoying the present? It's a tough tightrope to walk. We're all told to save, to invest, to be responsible, but how do we do that without sacrificing the joy of today? Where is that line for you? Have you ever felt you got the balance wrong one way or the other?
And second, we want to know about your personal experience with the "you're never too old" idea. Do you find it inspiring, or do you sometimes find it frustrating and unrealistic? There's no right answer here, and your honesty is so valuable because I guarantee someone else is feeling the exact same way. When do you feel energized by it? And when does it just feel like another pressure?
Finally, what is your version of Friluftsliv for it, scuba diving? What's the one activity that makes you feel truly connected and alive? The thing that makes time just melt away. It doesn't have to be grand or impressive. It could be doing a crossword puzzle, listening to a particular piece of music, or simply sitting on the porch at dusk.
You know, after this chat, I think I'm actually going to look up that pottery class tonight. No more someday. What's the worst that can happen? I make a lopsided bowl? It's better than an empty shelf on my someday list and a dusty ukulele judging me from the corner. It'll be my lopsided bowl, and I'll have made it.
Carol, I love that. That's exactly it. That's the whole point in a nutshell. It's not about the result. It's about the act of creation. Please, everyone, head to our comment section and share your story, or maybe even your own lopsided bold commitment. We read every single one, and your collective wisdom is the best part of this community.
And if you enjoyed this conversation, you'll love our next episode. We're talking about how friendships change after retirement and how to build new connections, which feels like a perfect follow-up to this one.
Summarizing, so while Graham's physical feats are astounding, his greatest lesson is in his philosophy. Don't wait. Fan the flames of your passion now, whatever they may be, because the fire is a precious, finite resource. Don't let the someday list become a list of regrets.
A beautiful way to put it, Arthur. Live now, not someday. And go make a lopsided bowl, or play a wonky tune on a dusty ukulele. Just make something.
I would love to see that. Maybe we can start a band, the Lopsided Bowls.
Don't push it, Arthur.
If this episode made you think, please share it with a friend. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss a conversation.
Until next time, be well.
Take care, everyone.